Three Luminara talents announced that they are parting ways with the company. On top of this, an investor also broke ties, and owner Kamana announced he's transferring ownership. Owner Kamana has since then deleted his Twitter or deactivated it. I wanted to make an official post and let everyone know that I'm no longer a talent of or affiliated in any way with Luminara production. I know I had people worried about me joining an agency/group with all the flack that they get. I want to reassure everyone that nothing bad— I guess this is cut off. We're being left on a cliffhanger. Good morning, everyone. I'm making this post to inform you all of my decision to part ways with Luminara. I've made so many amazing friends and met so many incredibly talented people there. Thank you all for supporting me in this journey. The shooting star is Indy again. And Velki, I'm informing you all that I have officially decided to part ways with Luminara. I'm no longer affiliated nor a talent of the company. I've made a lot of great memories and met amazing friends during that time, but now it's time to move forward back to Indy, baby. And oh, Freem responded. I usually stay in my own lane, but I remember my first time talking to Kamara. He didn't know who I was at first, so I asked him what Luminara was about. He explained with a lot of fluff and bringing up large names in the space. I was like, gee, that sounds super fun. How are you going to make it profitable? He literally refused to answer, so I followed up with, oh, I'm Freem, by the way, you know, the production Vtuber that helps a ton of the large names on the back end. He then walked away. In early April, Kamana, the owner of Luminara, also— I'm gonna go back a bit in time here— also tweeted this. Keeping things real, Luminara made about $7,434 in the first 6 months, taking 0% from talents and only from partnerships and ad rev. I made just $0. All the money went to staff, talents, and outsourced help. I did it all for the love of the game. Sadly, I do not love this game anymore. Cass responded, the internet is cruel, but I still support you. You respond, I'm just tired of the narrative that agencies need predatory contracts in order to make money. They do not. I know it's possible to make it happen. Maybe I'm just not the guy to prove it, but I hope someone does one day. And everybody kind of raised an eyebrow at this because everyone's like, how do you take 0% from the talents? And then it's like, how does that work, right? And if you take 0%, I'm just assuming that you have a group and you're not really offering anything. You know, you guys are just like a friend group and you're probably not doing much for them anyway. Armchair ended up responding to this, and he said, charity, the game you're playing at is creating a Vtuber charity, not a Vtuber agency. A Vtuber charity, not a Vtuber agency. Agencies need to generate profit enough that everyone gets paid, including the CEO. If the agency doesn't make money, it stops running because it can't fund talent supports and/or the CEO gets sick of burning their own money. When he's right so far, there is a reason that agencies that take 0% from talents also have a 0% survival rate past the 2-3 years. I like the 0 and 0 repetition here. That's good creative writing. Historically, agencies have taken around 3+ years to become profitable. Luminara has existed for just shy of 1. If you're already tired of the game, then perhaps you may have picked up the wrong one. Damn! If your goal is to create a Vtuber charity, then that's fine, even admirable. Just don't call your venture an agency. That gives everyone the wrong idea. Tweeting this out as a CEO is also a baffling decision. Tweeting out that your quote-unquote agency made net zero in its first 6 months is a rather unconventional way of disclosing what most agencies would regard as confidential but predictable information. Tweeting out that you, as the CEO, do not love the game anymore is inexplicable. Everyone needs to vent sometimes. Everyone feels overwhelmed sometimes. When you're a CEO, you do not get to be everyone. We need more serious businessmen and businesswomen as CEOs, not people starting ventures out of ego and/or some misguided attempt at proving an overly idealistic point about the industry. If you want to audition for an agency, check to see if its CEO's staff have any social. Vet those socials extensively. Check to see if the CEO or marketing material contains any grandiose statement about the state of the industry, or really anything other than a plan to make content/money. If you see any of that, think twice. You never know, your new CEO will fall out of love with the game just 6 months into their tenure, and you want to have an exit plan in case that happens. What's really interesting about this is that Kamana responded to it. Calling Luminara a charity because it chose not to take a cut is nonsense. We made over $7,000 in only 6 months. That's not charity. That's revenue. Luminara was never a talent agency. It's always been a production agency focused on events, convention, and music projects. That's been clear from day one. People like you are exactly why it stopped being fun. the constant criticism and demands that I have to be this perfect CEO. That's what causes burnout. Being tired doesn't mean I'm giving up or backing down. I never said I was quitting. I'm still here, pushing for the people who matter. I still love the day by day, the events, the projects. What I don't love is being constantly attacked for not being perfect. You don't know me. You've never spoken to me, yet you feel comfortable calling me egotistical and acting like you understand my motivations. That's exactly the condescending attitude I'm talking about. 7K in 6 months is nothing, by the way. And we have also Mitos 11 days ago announcing that they're no longer working with affiliated with Luminara, and would like to wish them best of luck in the future with their endeavors. But on top of that, the story is like really complicated. There's this Google Docie that I'm not gonna go over today because there's too much to untangle, but this was already addressed in court. Here's the document proving it. And basically, allegations were made against Real Kamana. According to the Docie, the original accusers had already denied the claims as false. Real Kamana allegedly took a third party to court for spreading those claims despite the original accuser withdrawing them. And I have noticed that this is the only link that doc I can found. Evenstar, one of the original accusers mentioned, has also rebranded. And then all the tweets started coming out, and they're still coming out, and everybody's coming out with their experiences with Luminara. I have Google Docie fatigue, we all do. But this is like weird because there was initial accusations made against Real Kamana. He has his own Google Docie. It went to court. The accusers withdrew, but now some of them are like re-saying some of the stuff. I'm like so fucking confused, man. There's more Google Docies coming out too. But listen, here Pixel the Painter says, effective immediately, I will no longer be working with Luminara Legacy. I wish I could say more, but all I can say for now is hug. Hey everyone, kind of serious post. I'm no longer affiliated with Luminara as an artist due to differences in beliefs with how the company is heading. I wish the talent nothing but the best. They're all sweethearts, but I'm not looking for a more permanent partnership as a core artist. It's a shame this happened, but that's life. Love y'all. I will not follow up on this unless I need be, so I'm not someone who enjoys being super serious. The damages to my art was done and false promises that led nowhere sucks. However, I'm a grown adult and we'll move past this. Shit happens, we move on. Have a lovely day, everyone. And thanks for all the unending support. I'll do my best to bring y'all more content. And to debunk anything, I was to make 3 models for the next wave of Luminara talents. Being told I'd be paid later, upfront payments, and I'd have been thoroughly compensated for my time, as well as 2 of my very popular pieces being sold or had been sold, still unsure, at cons, was also to make merch for the talents and my waves Shibi mainly, and I'd be paid later again. Please allow me to feel bitter for once, but I feel nothing after finding out Luminara hired a person who lies and throw me under the bus for clout. If they shut down, well. I am no longer affiliated with Luminara. It's been a great journey and I'm grateful for all the opportunities I was given and for all the people I knew through it, but it's time to move forward and forge my own path. Hope you'll stick with me throughout this new chapter. And in the midst of all these tweets coming out, I haven't been caught in 4K! Rima replying to Luminara Legacy, I am not wearing pants. Let the court know that I have no recollection of ever tweeting that, by the way. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't know. It wasn't in response to this. So tell me you're a VTuber, I'll tell me you're a VTuber. I'm not wearing pants. Hey guys, like everyone else, I'm choosing to step away from Luminara. I joined last August as an artist and was very grateful for the opportunity. I'm happy to have met so many kind and amazing talents and staff. Thank you to everyone that supported me through. And also we had another CEO in the Discord saying that like a lot of the staff had just been laid off. Seems like all the artists are quitting, all the staff are quitting, the VTubers, the talents are leaving, everybody's leaving. I've decided to not continue my contract with Luminara due to disagreements with management. I've met some incredible people and had some great opportunities given to me, but it's time for me to close this chapter of my life and go on with the next. Let's keep pushing ahead. Honey, this is how I found out what's happening. It sucks because Amethyst Wave artists are the last in the known. We were literally in the dark. It's so sad. Though she doesn't mention Luminara. She is listed on their website with links to her account and says she's indie again. Probably a safe bet that just about everyone is separating from Luminara. Hello, just to clarify, I'm indie again going forward. Wish the best of luck to everyone. My time with everyone was enjoyable and educational, but it's time for this dog to roam free. Woo! Anyone who needs to get in contact with me, please use my email, Discord tickets, or my Discord or Twitter DMs if we're mutuals, all info linked below. Pixel Painter tweeted again, joins company to help with events. CEO fails to inform me plus others about most changes with the company, removes me from event staff without telling me, start seeing talents and staff leaving, company implodes on itself, and it only escalates from here on now. I never wish to do a call-out post on my own platform, but I do feel this is important as I fear this person is a danger to women. I cannot speak for the others who are true victims that I know are affected and been through worse. I was lucky and just saw behaviors that are triggering. Me and the CEO of Luminara, Kamana, were seeing each other the last 18 days and talking about being a couple. We met at MomoCon in person, and this is where I started to see red flags. All texts and conversation between us are primarily positive, for we were trying to move on, but after a Discord call last night confirming my suspicions, I don't have anything left to say to him. Due to respect, I don't wish to expose who the victim and just stick to my own experience, but this is the reason I'm making a post to begin with. 1. He was very pushy for sex. Granted, we are adults and we talked about sleeping together during the weekend, so this isn't a surprise. It's just the way he would ask for it. Forcing my hand down on his member. Oh no. Okay. Oh, we're going there. Dragging my hand across his ECTION in public, even though I voiced plenty. I'm not into public PDA to that extent. Complaining about the condom. Asking for a release and never getting one. Did he grape me though? No. I gave my consent to do it, but he wasn't comfortable. So now he's a sex pest too. Yeah. Well, TBH, the original Google Docky accusations had some very heavy accusations regarding sexual conduct, I'm pretty sure. But again, I'm saving this for another day. He found one of his talents to be extremely beautiful. She is, no denying that, but kept repeating it over and over how pretty she is and trying to buy her things. It made me feel like he wanted to spend time with her and find a way to build a connection with her, so after I left, they could hook up. True, not sure, just a feeling. She didn't buy it though. Oh god, he was trying... That's why he was doing it for free. He was trying to build his VTuber harem. It all makes sense now. Free love bombing. During intercourse, he said, I love you. I don't know about you, but I can't love someone after 18 days, especially if seeing other people. And then yesterday, he said, I love you again before hanging up, texting me saying I said it. I've never said that, and he for sure did. Then telling me to move in with him and he'll take care of everything for me. I've seen this pattern before and I know the outcome. This is a narcissist. Lying. In regards to the grape in question, no one outright said to me it was or isn't. I only just met these people and I was a stranger to the group, so I took a back seat since I was confused and I heard too many sides. I didn't know what was true, what wasn't. But last night, I heard from Kamana that everything is smoothed over. They talked, everyone's moving on. My gut was telling me otherwise. So the victim in question, I talked over Discord last night and she said the exact same pattern Kamana was showing me. The attention, the I love you, the let me fly you out and live with me. It was spot on. And no, nothing was smoothed over. The victim broke down in tears when I told her what he said, and she got a confession apparently of him saying he did in fact grape her. Have I heard this confession? No, but I do believe Kamana has the mindset and personality to be a manipulative person to get what he wants that could lead to grape. 100%. As I said, I was lucky. I wasn't great, but I did and do feel uncomfortable after the con and learning more about him as a person. I would never take the time to write this if I didn't feel he was a potential threat. And even though I know he's leaving the community, I at least hope this is a lesson to be learned and actions do in fact have consequences. I know this is a long read, but thank you for reading anyways. Also, every talent in Luminara has announced a departure, but Kamana also deactivated his account, right? But then on his Discord, he claims, I'll probably bring it back in a week or two. I just wanted some peace while I transfer ownership. We're at a point where I'm more confused, or I'm more focused on my family and health than I'm in internet points. I ain't getting younger and this isn't doing me any favor. I hope you guys continue to ride with me, even though I probably won't be doing the VTubing management stuff anymore. I don't know, it feels like very convenient for him to disappear at a time like this. Yeah, the focused on my health trope. Somebody replied to Charlotte saying, I'm deeply sorry you had to deal with this. As someone who is familiar with Kamana, he has a history of this behavior, as he has been called out in the Brawlhalla scene for doing similar and in some cases worse behavior. It angers me that he has not stopped doing this. This tweet has been deleted since then. Why are they deleting their tweets? Kamana Jovi is a PDF file who groomed and dated a 15-year-old. Minors cannot consent to sex with adults. He self-admitted to flying out to have sex with the victim in his own video, and later he deleted the video and claimed the re-uploaded video was AI. What the frick? Oh, you did archive those tweets? Based. And this person responding to Pixel the Painter saying, I never trusted Kamana ever since I was unfairly banned from Sukuria, his other VTuber group, because a staff member manipulated me and then turned around to blame it all on me. These are some hefty accusations and allegations, yeah. I was given the opportunity to join Luminara and I turned it down. In the past, I worked with Kamana through 2 management groups that fell apart. Lots of people were hurt in those as well. I originally joined because he promised me help with my social medias as he was running Zentrea's YouTube. Now, everybody put a pin in this because Zen's name is about to come back a lot, and this is going to be a pattern with him where he uses big VTuber names a lot when he's trying to convince people to work with him. So Sarah says he was promising me growth, and I spent thousands on editors for him to hardly help and keep passing me off to others. When I met him in person, he kept flexing any and every connection he had. Although people cannot say shit for professional reasons, if you notice, there were many red flags around Luminara. It worried me so much seeing such amazing people working with them. Talents and staff, I'm so sorry for what you are going through. I'm sure many of you were blindsided. You deserve better. Also, my post about somebody hitting my mods was not about Kamana. Kamana ran Sakuria, then N1, and then Luminara. The more he did, the more it became obvious that he just wanted to have connections. I remember him flexing his connections with Mitos, SVA, Zen, Vshoujo, all the time to make talents feel like there were future opportunities. He literally told me to use my connections to get places. When I posted about having a niche, that was him. He kept trying to get me to stick to one thing and wanted me to grow through that. It infuriated me. He kept telling me it'd be hard to grow in variety. He promised to reach out to events, companies, and people for me. I worry for any convention project, etc. that was being funded by the agency. Talents likely had projects in the works too. I never signed any contracts, so I can share these. Sorry for the scattered thoughts. Kamana says, working on some really big things for N1. Honestly honored to be part of it. I'll make it big. I always make everything big. I'm grateful that you want to push me forward. I'm going to see if I can get my own IP to have a female VTuber host my event so it's easier to get agencies involved. Are we officially listed as an agency or is that in the works? I don't want to call it agency, but if we had to, it would be a management agency, so it's a bit different. We would only have one VTuber that would work under it to be the host for all the projects I create. They would collab a lot with our talents though for content. N1 will be an event hosting management agency. Gonna keep expanding, but I'm in a bidding battle with who gets to work closely with N1. Oh, a bidding battle? Yeah, I don't know how shit works. Companies want me to work for them, so I'm seeing what's the best offer before taking any. Oh, you have been crushing it. I've been doing this. The only difference is people are noticing and now everyone wants a piece of the pie. Management is impressive on what we do, so it just gives you an idea on how much we support you guys more than those agencies. Okay. Big ego. You made me so uncomfortable like many others. I wanted somebody to help me find the direction, you know? I don't want to be the focus. I want the talents to rise. Flork responds to this saying, he literally had no SVA connections. Sarah responds, he told me at Matsuri he had just met you and thought he was going to have future plans with you, which he definitely misunderstood. And Flork responded, absolutely not. We met for maybe 15 minutes, meeting on where he explained the company, X company gives us X money to make events. I pushed on Y company would just give money for nothing, didn't really get a response. Said some other things that were not true, but I don't want to really add more to the fire. Ended up not even adding him on Discord, didn't want anything to do with it, though maybe over time Luminara would improve. Oh, maybe over time Luminara would improve. It did not. I feel for all the talents involved in it. They had big dreams and were led on, and all of them are good people. What's with people and trying to use Zen as a stepping stone? He's using her for his own benefit. I find that so slimy. Also, VForge has cut ties with Luminara. Now, who is VForge? It's a creative agency meant to service VTubers and digital creators, and they connect clients with skilled talents such as artists, editors, managers, designers, and many more. Yes, they were affiliated with them. Okay, and Flork starts responding. It isn't inherently bad to use your connection in the industry to establish credibility, but it can't be lies, and you need to have something real to offer. They need to actually be on your roster, yeah. Or like officially affiliated with you. I mean, you can tell when, I don't know, I can tell when people are I like to say that I can tell when people are talking shit out of their ass. You like that jester hat? Nice, thank you. So Flork here says, since SVA was mentioned, I want to clarify on the side that we never talked to Luminara except sponsoring a small amount for Corey's concert last year. Besides that, we have never had any connections, talk, anything with Luminara. Our talents participating in a meet and greet under Luminara, where we later learned it was Luminara hosting said meet and greet. I don't know Cam, so if you did say this to anyone, that was false. Our one time in contact was very awkward business pitch he made to me at Off Guy last year. TLDR, they were telling people they knew me, SVA, they did not. Finding out now he used my name a lot, apparently. Shame on you, I never knew you. How awkward was it on a scale from first time intern interview to proposition his sister to you? 8 out of 10? Jesus Christ, tons of red flags with that guy. Regarding real Kamina's actions, former staff San Nati Risa of Kamina's old creator server provided the full video. Doc only has clips. The only edits made to this were the combining of 2 videos. All edits were made by Kamina himself. Please reach out to her if you have questions. Not trying to get sued, so I'm deleting see doc and video for details. More statement below. For all of fact number 48, Jovi, former CEO of Global Breakout, is a PDF and has deleted his previous admission to guilt. He refused to confront claims about him as at not making things public. It is our responsibility to cut his connection in this community. You got an update, Alara? Did you tweet about it? Oh god. Oh god. We haven't even gotten to your tweets yet. I've been given permission to share this information from an anonymous source. Kamina was banned from last weekend's MomoCon before the event started, yet still attended despite knowing this. We ban evaded? I know myself and others can confirm he was there in person. At some point during the weekend, this was noticed and he was escorted from the property by police. This is some tea. Coming out, well, we have problems now at everyone. Hello, my name is Chris and I'm co-chair for MomoCon. I have copied Kevin, who made the initial contact regarding a potential participation in MomoCon 2026. After internal review, Khan has made the decisions that we are unable to move forward with your participation this year. Why would he tweet that in the server? Is he stupid? Is that him? Most people have proof that he attended. Holy fuck, do we know why he got banned? We don't. I have been unable to find this info, but getting banned from a large convention like that, you must have really messed up. And then Lara tweeted again. Update. Kamina was allegedly banned from MomoCon for past misconduct. He had a prior court case years ago. Yeah, we know that. Yeah. Although we haven't read it yet. Kamina then chose to tell his staff the real reason he was banned was because the lead organizers for MomoCon were upset that Luminara stole their idea for Minecraft SMP server? Are we actually serious? Legit? What? John Luminara says, I called Chris because he did send his number in the last email. He explained to me the situation. As of right now, he said they may allow Luminara to stay, but he said to me, as the owner is banned as of right now, he explained that it was rash because of the lead organizer was pushing to have us removed. I have an idea on who it is too, since I was upset to see them take charge of the event a few days ago. So as of this moment, staff may handle the booth. We'll keep you guys updated at everyone. They're using my past allegations as the reason. The actual reason that they are mad at me is because of the SMP server. They just had a reason to scare people now. I sent Chris my proof. He said he will see it, and if it's true that I'm saying, what I'm saying, I'll be unbanned. Yes, unfortunately, it really is. They're mad at me because I stole their idea. What was the idea? A Minecraft SMP. This is not serious. Could be the cause of this video too. This guy seems insane. This guy was just a walking red flag. Oh, Cultist Zolan, Victoria's husband, manager, retired dad. I've been quietly watching this one with concern for a while, but I'm very unsurprised at the outcome. Last year, when this was all getting started, Vex and I were approached to meet in person to discuss Luminara. Generally, we were curious about it and wanted to learn more, but given how vague a lot of the posts by the organization were, we had no idea what Luminara was actually offering. And honestly, chat, none of us still do. Like, nobody knows what the fuck they were offering. The meeting in person was friendly enough. Kamana seemed like a nice dude with some genuine dreams at the time to run some sort of organization, but we've seen genuine people lead to absolute disaster in indie management firms if they don't really understand what they're getting into. And so Vex, in her infinite wisdom, slipped in and probing questions to figure out what the heck they actually offered. By the end of the meeting, neither of us understood. They wanted to put on events and they wanted to provide YouTube editing, but they had no intention of taking any form of payment from their clients. When we asked how they were going to pay their editors, they just said that everyone would be paid and they had investors. Yeah, but investors expect some money back at some point, no? Investors expect profits. One of the investors right away we'd had issues with in the past, so that was a large red flag in itself. Red flag 2 was having absolutely no plan to sustain the org, no matter what questions we asked. All the money was coming from investors and basically having talents host events, which I assume the hope there was to attract sponsors to help fund the cost of it. Red flag 3 was Kamina continuing to bring up his connection to Zen and also bragging about how he'd signed multiple talents that weekend. It was very look who I know heavy and immediately flagged to Vex and I as leaning on someone's name, probably without their knowledge, to gain influence on others. Halfway through the meeting, where we still had absolutely no idea how their organization would function, Vex was asked if she was interested in joining. So what do you think? Do you want in or something like that? We were so shocked. Vex had to do a double take and ask for clarification that we were indeed being asked on the spot to join. She politely declined and said she needed to see contracts and understand more about how the org would work before we could proceed in either direction. We could tell immediately that the conversation turned after we declined and became more about pleasantries, which was fine. It transitioned into being a comfy convo and a walk back to the convention in the end. They didn't seem like bad people at all, just very misguided in how any form of management organization should run. But we later found out through other friends that they had also been approached or had been sent contracts online and then pressed about joining IRL before anything could be reviewed or discussed. People we had been told had been signed had not, in fact, been signed, and a few other tales of behavior in uncomfortable situations, actions taken at others' expense that I'm not at liberty to discuss, ultimately left us with a very sour taste in our mouths. In my experience, organizations without this kind of plan, but with ideals to run merch, run events, and promise the world that the talents are often set up for disaster when it comes to paying contractors, or when investors realize they're not going to make any money off this venture. Once the well dries up, money gets stolen from others until there's nothing left or talent begin to talk, and everything falls apart. That sounds like very Vshoujo, except Vshoujo had a longer run, man. When that happens, talents are typically isolated from each other to prevent said talking. Threats about career damage and legal actions loom overhead, or the owner up and vanishes without a word to protect themselves. Legally speaking, it's often prohibitively costly to get those amounts of money back, so when they run, they often get away with it. That's crazy. We absolutely did not want to be a party to that kind of fallout, so we declined and moved on with our lives while watching the organization quietly and hoping for a different end. But this outcome ultimately doesn't surprise me at all. It sucks seeing people hurt. I hope everyone can land on their feet, but I want to express two important, relevant things I've learned from my time in this industry and on this planet. 1. Management organizations are incredibly difficult to sustain. Be very careful and really study an organization's track record before you consider joining. And 2, if something seems too good to be true, such as someone offering you free management services, it absolutely always is. Do not trust this. Do not engage. Wishing nothing but the best for everyone moving on from this phase of their journey. This Ricky Vtuber person responded to so many promises, and then Cultizolon responded, dude, I'm so very sorry if you need to chat. I'm sure we share servers somewhere. My DMs are open. I remember him dropping you as the first talent to sign. Also, how excited you were for it too. And really genuinely hoped everything worked out. I'm sad that it didn't and hope that things absolutely rock for you going forward. August, anomaly, I feel really lucky for avoiding joining. I was put in a similar situation with Kamana, and I'm a bit naive when it comes to these things. It's blowing my mind how many people were affected here. Liz was also in the company. Whenever engaging with business dealings, my advice to people who are inexperienced is to do at least 2 of the following. Explain it out loud or in writing to yourself or someone else. This forces you to justify what you're doing and understand the value of the exchange. Find a friend or relative or random stranger and ask them to review the proposal, idea, contract, and let you know if they see anything glaring. Ask a lawyer to review everything and let you know if they find anything glaring. We had to learn these things the hard way too. Hey kid, I'm going to make you a star. So Pengi here describes her experience with Luminara. Last November, I passed the Luminara auditions and I've been in the talent server since. I met the CEO in person at Awa last year. And while he had seemed really kind at first, lots of red flags that kept popping up. I was desperate for an opportunity and tried to ignore the warning signs. Ultimately, thanks to my manager advocating for me, I decided not to sign the contract to debut. When I first joined, my manager had asked questions about how the agency planned to operate long-term. I had also asked questions on how Luminara gained anything from having me there because I was having trouble understanding how it worked. How are they making money by having me there. Every time we asked clarification questions, the CEO would get angry. One time he asked for an emergency call at 2 a.m. without my manager present after I had finished streaming because of this. The fuck? He specifically mentioned that he didn't want her manager present. Like, why? He would also constantly belittle me for having quote-unquote no clout because I don't have a lot of followers. He showed me extremely disturbing imagery the first time we met in person, a video of a live roaches getting sticks shoved through them. Ew. During what was supposed to be a work call, we spent a lot of time listening to his music, which wasn't bad to listen to, but not the purpose of the call. I would literally be annoyed. Somebody asked me for a business call, and they start like chilling or hanging out. I'm like, I'm not here to hang out. I'm here to talk business. Also, I hate listening to other people's music. I need to listen to my own like bad taste in music, okay? I can't listen to your quality slop. However, when I sent a link to my original song because the application we were filling out requested it, he started making fun of it and said that it sounded like I had Tourette's. Yo, what the fuck? This guy's a savage. Yo, what the fuck? Rude. There was a bit more, of course, but this is just to give an overview of the situation. I don't know if talking about it is the right thing to do, and I don't know if sharing details would be more detrimental than helpful. But I just wanted to provide my perspective to help give more credence and support to the talents and staff that have decided to part ways that probably can't go into details themselves. Insane. This guy, dude's an actual psycho. And it's crazy that, like, a lot of people were sussing Luminara out for a while, right? But no one really big or really official was speaking out about it. And now the cat's out of the bag. Now everybody's speaking out. I wonder if there's a way for this not to happen, you know? Sinmaru. I used to be heavily connected with Kamana back when I was Yuva. And if anyone was wondering, that was the real reason why I rebranded. He told me that he felt like I stole Yuva from him after we stopped being friends. And after hearing that he was shit-talking me afterwards, I wanted no connection to him whatsoever. I won't go into details into my experience, I don't know if I ever will. He's painted me as a liar and convinced me to say I was one to save his reputation too many times that I feel like anything I could say would get met with, yeah, but he said BS that. Oh, that it would. She's saying, okay, I would get met with, yeah, but he said that, and he isn't worth my time anymore. I spent 2.5 years trying to keep that friendship that he was willing to break at any inconvenience. As someone who used to consider him a part of my family, he came to my family events and met my parents and extended family. Even they knew something was wrong, but I still defended him until my last breath. Even right before we stopped being friends, he wanted me to post a new doc defending him since drama was swirling around again after the first Vtuber rivals. I may not be comfortable with sharing my full experience with him right now. It was a 2.5-year friendship that has left me with a lot of trauma, but I've already deleted all my tweets defending him. I don't want to defend him anymore. He didn't deserve my defense to begin with. However, unfortunately, none of these things being said about him currently surprise me at all and align with how I knew him as a person. I'm so sorry to the people who have only just now found out how he is, who have been affected by him recently. I wish I could have said something sooner, but I feared that it would fall on deaf ears, and I hope those harmed by him can heal and move past this. Manipulators are scary, and you never know how bad it is until you're out of there. To the people who do know the full extent to which he treated me, who believed me and made me feel like maybe I wasn't crazy, thank you for helping me feel seen and making this weight I was carrying a little bit lighter. If I had to go through healing from it all alone, it would have been so much harder, and I can't say thank you enough for how much even just you trust and believe me it has helped. And then Flork tweeted again. But it's like, at first, you're like, okay, dude's a freak. There's some serious allegations against him. But then you're like, you know, since he wasn't taking any money from the talents, you're like, okay, this on the business side, how bad could it possibly be? Because there was no, it's not like he stole money from people. And then you get proven wrong pretty quickly, because even though he didn't take money from the talents, he still somehow managed to royally fuck over as many people as he could, and he did like a lot of damage in a really short period of time. Like, it's almost fucking impressive. How do you mess up? How do you ruin so many people so fast? Dude fucking speed run like the Black Company Olympics. So like, I guess he didn't steal money from the talents, but he stole money from like all the contractors he worked with, and he used a lot of people's names. Yeah, inspired by Gunrun. I just got here a few minutes ago. Is Flork a psycho? No. Do not clip that and send this to Flork. No, Flork is actually a really nice guy. Spoke to him a couple times. Owner of SVA's Vtuber agency. So far, so good. I mean, I like the socks talents a lot. We're talking about another person. This other person is called Kamana, and he's deactivated his Twitter account. He's the CEO of Luminara, an agency that's imploding. People, we are not trying to beat Nietzsche Sanji. This is not a race. Yeah. All right. So Flork tweeted, wow. So, okay. I guess Cam used my name way more than I thought. DMs coming in. If Cam used SVA/me to sweeten any deals, I've never even shared a server with this fucking guy. We never had anything planned. Not even thought of it occurred. I think I talked to an editor one time who may have worked with Luminara because we crossed paths from Voop chat. The only people associated with me is my PA and my direct talent managers. If anyone, any freelance managers, I see you, any companies say they have connections with me and are using this as a way to make a deal, get your business or anything, it is bullshit. You can directly verify a connection to SVA/me by emailing bivdev@soxagency.co and inquiring, and we'll tell you if we're affiliated or not. Do not let someone leverage names. Always ask and verify. Fuck you, dude. Oh, email is bizdev@soxagency.co. Twitter won't let me fix. If you've been affected by Luminara and my name was used in this, please reach out and I'll do my best to try and dust you off and help with what I'm able to. Dude, he's such a good guy. That shit is crazy. Being in Indie suddenly feels so great, but also seeing you willing to help out people brings back my faith in agencies and people in this community. Stay base, Flork. Oh. Is this a weird time to say? I've seen others also using your name to show off. Seems to be the team today. But how is Flork is somehow being used in a lot of dramas lately, and everybody's like entangled in all kinds of drama. I'm starting to feel like I'm being left out. Is this a weird feeling to have? Why is no one using my name to impress people? What the fuck? Would this be grounds for a lawsuit that there's false representation or some other shady practice? Flork says circles back to if the juice is worth the squeeze. Probably not. Flork and Bauer and all the dramas, yeah. Drama suckers. Flork just has a name recognition even outside of VTubing. Yeah, he did like this. It was like a meme account, right? Like his doodles are very popular. Well, his drawings. Sin Maroon, the girl this tweet, she used to be Yuvanisra and she was one of the original accusers mentioned in that docu, the ones where they said they withdrew the accusations against him. And almost sounds like she's withdrawing her withdrawal now by suggesting she was convinced by real Kamina to say that she lied. Even as you stream, Kawa and AM Candlery had to put out statement because Cam Luminara screwed them over. Okay, and then we have Zentrea's manager also speaking out about Luminara. Hey there, Zentrea's manager here. Just wanted to clarify that we parted ways with Kamina back in July 17, 2025. So Zen was approached by multiple VTubers who were not connected to each other, claiming that Kamina was using Zentrea's name to garner more clients and business partners. Several stated Cam was speaking with them in a very arrogant and unprofessional manners, including making multiple people uncomfortable, even going as far as to approach them in person at conventions to speak to and pitch to them in this way. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I need to go to these cons so I can get approached by these drama mongers. As soon as Zentrea was alerted to the situation, she immediately confronted Kamina, upset over the allegations, expressing her anger and disappointment at the usage of her name in this way and at the way Kamina approached other VTubers to the point that they were incredibly uncomfortable. Kamina had also spoken with me privately about talents he claimed were signed to Luminara that confirmed with Zen that they haven't signed at all. A few claims even went so far as to state Kamina was saying he was managing Zentrea and had an influence in her leaving VShojo. What? Which are completely false and very bold, as he was meeting weekly with myself and her other manager. Well, people will often claim they have influence over you or they did that for you. Yeah, sure, my fucking ass. Upon confronting him, she immediately terminated business with him going forward. We sincerely apologize if Zentrea's name was a factor in any decision someone made to enter into a business relationship with Kamina. Bro, can Zentrea fucking catch a break? First VShojo and then fucking Luminara? Well, now she was with SVA, so let's hope everything's alright. Rima just wants an invitation to the con orgy parties. That's what I'm saying, bro. Everything's there. The orgies are there. The drama cloud goblins are there. What if I like interview people like Louis Theroux style and snuff them out? This guy made V Shoujo steal the charity money. Was Kamina really trying to use Zen to gain fame? Well, to gain credibility would be a better word. Pia P also says here, can confirm he said all that stuff to me about Zentrea, which I immediately knew was BS, and started me down the rabbit hole of my own Luminara scam unraveling. So, like, I understand why they didn't speak out, but there could have been a lot of harm prevented if some people spoke out earlier too. Oh, Zen says can confirm we had a discussion on Gen 13 2025 where he used Andrea's name to convince me it was worth giving Luminara a chance, as I was initially publicly critical of its business model during its first few announcements. Yo, Zan, show the screenshot. You get a viral tweet right there. I hate how many self-serving, crude, all-around bad actors exist in the scene. There are too many instances of poor intention or predatory people in authority positions. I can only hope we can continue to call it out as we see it. And Pengi replied to him saying, your guidance was a huge reason for me to ultimately decide not to go through with it. I just didn't want to drag you into a situation with my original post, but thank you so much for your help, Steiner. And Zentrai also spoke about Kamada on stream.
My vibes today are so...
Oh no, it did. Oh, she's using the hot mommy voice too. Let's go. I love her new voice.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh, she just looked at her phone.
One thing after another. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw, but... Luminara dissolved. Kamana. Yeah.
But it's not
Wanna
just
be
that.
just straight up on that one, dude. Like... I'm so fucking upset about that. He used my fucking name so many times, like, in different conventions. I had so many people come up to me. They all approached me saying like, hey man, he's using your name. He's grabbing people into his organization, using your name, or into his business.
Oh, Vito helped her out with the voice. That's cool.
And I was so fucking pissed about that. I was so fucking pissed about that. Dude. Like, they all have the evidence. They were showing me this, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Bro had no shame.
You're using my fucking name. Now, don't get me wrong. Here. I think it's cool that when people say, hey, I worked with Zent. I did some things. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't understand how can you keep this up. I know that some marketing agency for like talents and stuff, they would usually they would pitch some sponsors with creators that they didn't actually have on roster, which is why now a lot of the talent agencies are contract based, because they found out that other competitors were using talents from their own rosters to pitch sponsors. So I know this is something that the industry tends to do. I didn't know it happened on the VTuber. I guess it was only a matter of time.
Go around and using it in the way to where you're literally trying to build up your entire branding off of my name.
Yeah.
And to also just lure in people with this guise of lies.
I also heard he was terrible at organizing shit.
And then goes on to build an HC off of my name too, by the way.
Wait, what do you mean an HC?
He builds like an agency off of my fucking name.
Oh, agency. Okay. Hi, Merkip. Hey, say you Rima. You didn't miss the orgy yet. It's scheduled at in 20 minutes. Nice, yeah, stick around, chat. You're
Then
all
to
invited.
find out, you know, all that shit just... I don't even know how bad it was in Luminara. I don't. I didn't fucking join. I didn't want to know anything about it. I didn't want anything to do with him anymore. He got his fucking agency, so, you know, I was just like, you know what? I don't want to get into a legal dispute here. Maybe he does the fucking right thing. Of course he doesn't. And he does some crazy other fucking shit that I God knows what.
I don't know how
I was so pissed about that, man.
Like, how hard is it to just run a legitimate business instead of scamming your own employees? I don't fucking know, Carlisle. The Vtuber industry makes it seem like it's fucking impossible. Can we just have, like, a businessman with, like, credentials instead? You know?
Like, what the fuck, dude?
It's not like you're just selling a product. Like, your product are people with complex feelings, with personalities and stuff, and you also gotta manage those. It sounds like a nightmare. V-cloppers? That would be kind of woke. Not gonna lie, that sounds woke. I'd certainly debuted the first, like, male VTuber empreg. What? Did you see the scammer that got sentenced to 45,000 years in prison? No. What the fuck? Debut the first horse VTuber. You're true. Dealing with no, but it's like, bro, it's not just about dealing with women. It's dealing with humans in general. Like, I've hired contractors in the past. I mean, obviously, I still hire contractors, but for big projects, I wanted to shoot myself. It was like, I was like, how hard is it? You promised to do this project by this deadline. Why isn't it done yet? And then they have like all of these excuses, and you're like, you can't just be like, I don't fucking care about your excuses, get it done, because you need to get it done. So you gotta like go in negotiation mode, and you gotta be like, but I believe in you, you are the right person for this project, yada yada yada, just so they can finish the project. And then you can be like, I am never working with this person ever again. But if they're your talents, you are screwed. You are stuck with them. Nah, dude. Unbridled agency? There would be so many good puns in our, like, VTuber agency statement. Sign me up, Rima. I'll be the Southern Hemisphere rep. You're allowed to kick talents out. True, but then they'll be like, Rima... I'm trying to think of an allegations here. Rima never fed me, kept me locked in the basement. I'm being mistreated, black V-clopper company, you know? And then people on Twitter would be like, we hate VTuber agencies, we hate corpos, because we say we like capitalism, but we hate corpos. I emailed Andrea's business email about his grooming situation in March of 2025, and nothing was done. Care to talk about that? And Zendria responded directly. I can see you going active on your account just to stir shit up with me. I was told multiple times by Kamana at the time that he was being harassed by haters and that the allegations were false, and we did not have any proof at the time with any of these emails. At the time, we were under the assumption that these had the potential to be false since we were still in a very new partnership. Nothing had popped up previously after digging when we first worked with him. The internet being the internet, people say anything. I don't recall getting any emails about these as it's my business account, so anything not related is flagged into spam and deleted. My manager was messaged once or twice, usually with a throwaway account. So again, that goes under the guise of what he was saying could potentially be true, and he was just being harassed by haters. Now, I'm not sure how these allegations are anymore, since learning even more over the past few hours. We tried to do intense screening on many of my partners. We work with. The manager also added additional context. Kamina met with me, her other manager, and Zentra to discuss the claims. Because we were understandably concerned about it once we found out, he provided court documents showing the allegations were proved to be false and the cases were dismissed in court. I did hear the same thing, like Apparently he did go to the court and he forced the accusers to withdraw their accusations. You're looking at that, you're like, well shit, if the court ruled that there was not enough evidence, then maybe, you know, they were lying. As well as additional documentation from the person named as the victim stating it didn't happen. He actually came forward to us to tell us about the said allegations before we were contacted by one of his haters, which at the time appeared to be very genuine. Echoing Zen's words above, I was at a time or two from a throwaway account after Cam posted about it again, but no document was ever passed to me or Zen to our knowledge. Had these claims been confirmed, we would have immediately dropped him. However, with the information we were presented and could find on our own, we saw no reason to question what appeared to be official and legal documentation. He says, I emailed it with the subject line real Kamina concern and linked a Google document from 2023 that had proof of his grooming a minor. I also sent it to Doki Bird, Shoto, and Leimu, as this was around the Marvel's rival tournament and did not think they should work with him. Oh, didn't he organize the Marvel rival tournament? People can just make shit up and you want to avoid situation like with Eternal Return. True, like if two parties are giving you two conflicted information, it's very difficult to figure out who's telling the truth. I'm not sure if this circled to spam or if this was sent to her old email account with UTA at the time, but I, nor does Trey have an email this information. I'm not saying you didn't send it, I fully believe you. I'm just saying sadly we didn't get it. But had we would have actioned on it immediately. We didn't end up following up on it as soon as we were made aware though. I can't access the email I sent you with since it was a throwaway, but I copy-pasted the same email to the others I mentioned. I can still access one of those attached. I truly was just concerned about platforming someone with such a past. I appreciate it, I'm sorry it was missed. Hopefully there never is another situation like this, but if there ever is, please reach out on DMs, Discord, anything just in case. Would absolutely never ignore something as serious as this. DM seems to be hopeless since anyone can message and I don't have a Discord throwaway as I don't use it much, but yes, hopefully I won't need to reach out for similar reasons again. Twitter DMs are fucked anyway, don't even bother. They made like the worst changes to the Twitter platform. Donnie Dostar also made an announcement in their Discord. I know by now that you have been seeing Luminara mayhem going on. I've terminated my contract a couple days ago, but I've stayed quiet to make sure all other talents were also safe before I said anything in a public way. I parted ways with Luminara. I'm no longer affiliated with them or talent of the company. I met a bunch of amazing people from here I consider good friends, and I will still be working with them as friends and fellow content creators. Then try tweet again. I am so fucking heartbroken. I feel partially responsible for so many people getting hurt by these events. We had just started a partnership and he was doing a fairly decent job at the time, no issues with anyone. Jump forward maybe a few months later, I learned through many good friends that my name was being used in a way to lure people in under a guise of false pretenses, and they all had backed off, which I apologized to them for his actions. I immediately confronted him and terminated. I had no idea people still joined even after I had already parted ways with Kamina. To hear that people still were thrown in using my name and how he built me up. He said that? Yes, the statement was used. My manager had spoken to him and heard from others that Kamina would say he built my channel and how he used my name consistently in all the conversations, even going as far as to approach them in person with promises and unprofessional verbiage. Yeah, the newcomer on the scene totally built up Zentreya, as if she hadn't been doing that for fucking years. He built up one of the OGs. Even stolen valor, man. Hearing that so many people have been affected by this is very... I didn't know he would then go on to fucking destroy an entire agency he built. He even wanted me to join knowing I was furious with him. I even stated to him personally to keep my name out of any more future conversations. How do you go about using my name to destroy others' futures, man? I remember I was so fucking mad, and at that point I really didn't know what to believe in anything he said anymore. He lied to me, to my manager, to many others. I was used and my name affected many others, and if I had known it had gotten this bad behind the scenes to the point where he still kept using my name, I would have said something. I'm sorry, and my heart goes out to those affected by the situation, and seeing everything else coming out makes my heart sink so much. It isn't your fault, Zen. I'm so sorry. I remember him logging into your YouTube to prove to me he managed it. I cannot believe he did this shit. I'm so happy he isn't getting away with it. Thank you for speaking out. He logged into my shit in front of you? What? Yes, I wish I had screenshotted it. He had your YouTube up. And IDR? What does that mean? If he showed me your analytics or somebody else's, he kept telling me he'd help me grow and gain publicity. This guy is saying it's illegal. No, she probably gave him access. You can give access to editors and stuff. Nekomiki, my experience with Luminara. The fact that I can even write one of these when I was never affiliated with Luminara is infuriating, but I want to share this in case anyone was given a wrong impression of me because of Kamana. At Offkai 2025, Harris held an industry mixer. Anyone attending had to fill out a form, no exception, but Kamana never did. During the convention, multiple creators told me they had met with Kamana about Luminara, and that part of those conversations involved him speaking negatively about Harris and complaining about not being invited to the mixer. Towards the beginning of the convention, Kamana DM'd me on X asking if I wanted to meet. I thought it was strange to market your agency to someone already with management, but out of politeness, I agreed to meet on Sunday near the end of the convention day. This is important. When we met, he immediately asked why he wasn't invited to the mixer. He framed it like a joke at first, but kept pushing for actual answers. I told him I was just a talent and had no involvement in the guest list, then tried to move on. He then pivoted into talking about how he disagreed with Hare's business structure and believed he could do better. Bro, he's one to talk about a business structure. You made 7K in 6 months. Krill yourself in Minecraft. I asked a simple question, how would he sustain that business model financially? He immediately became cagey. I also told him that I was happy at Hare's and felt supported by my management. He seemed genuinely surprised and almost offended by that. Even the mod I was with noticed the shift and felt uncomfortable. The conversation lasted maybe 5 to 10 minutes before I left. Yeah, and it was his third agency attempt. After that conversation, I learned that he had made even more of my peers uncomfortable while trying to get them to sign with Luminara. It was clear he left a negative impression on a lot of people, and that was already being discussed before I ever met with him. Despite only meeting him once at the very end of the convention, I later found out that he was blaming part of his negative reputation on me. He claimed I sabotaged his chances with other creators and even DM'd my own manager saying I was the reason his off-guy weekend went poorly. Bro, this dude's crazy. He accused me of making up bad experiences with him to dissuade people from signing with Luminara, even though many of those conversations happened before I ever sat down with him. I will always be grateful to Naru and Harris for standing up for me and not backing down. Naru defended her talents, and from what I understand, that conversation was shut down pretty quickly. Unfortunately, I later found out that he has held a continued grudge against both Harris and me since Offkai. Oh my god. He had no issue speaking negatively about others, including people who were hurt far more than I was. So like, if you don't get in on his crazy ass fucking plans where he's just making up fan fiction about what he wants to do, making $0 together, then he starts like putting you on his grudge list and bad-mouthing you to everybody. I'm sharing this because I don't want my name or others used as an excuse for someone else's behavior. My only involvement with Kamana was a short and comfortable convo with someone who then tried to make me responsible for the way people reacted to his own actions. Wow, the fake stories and bad-mouthing went further than I thought. Again, if anyone had ever heard anything, please feel free to reach out to me because holy, thank you Mochi for speaking out and having the foresight to see this was shady. It was removed, but I think we archived it somewhere. I don't want to give names, but that AI scammer rebranded. This Luminara staff person is following that new account as well. Mind you, the scammer was never refunded people, and staff person is also reposting Kamana call-out post right now, so I assume they ended on bad terms too. During the Vtuber Rivals 2 event that Kamana was hosting, he'd mentioned multiple times about his connection with Zen and Mythos when announcing auditions for Luminara in the Discord. This was in September/October. My guess is that he wanted to use his affiliation with them to get as many auditions as possible despite no longer being affiliated with Zen at the time. Story just keeps on going. Oh yeah, that's a long one. Mad Scientist VTuber August Anomaly. Sounds like a guy from VShoujo, right? I was also approached with an offer to join Luminara during its initial stage in mid-2025. Originally, I reached out to Kamana with interest in his idea of special event hosting, as I wanted to be more involved within the community. After meeting, he let me know that he didn't think it'd be a good fit for the role, and that was that. About a month later, we briefly met at Offkai in a public setting, just saying hi, no business, and a week after that, he contacted me again asking to chat over a Discord call. I felt a little dubious about this, firstly due to the abrupt request, and secondly because around that time, I had read about ongoing issues regarding his attempts to recruit other talents, but decided to hear him out. During this call, he point-blank offered me a spot in Luminara. When I asked him why he was suddenly changing his mind, he told me something along the lines of Luminara benefiting from my good reputation. That was a red flag to me. Well, yeah, that sounds weird. As it came off as being me being sought out solely to help them grow instead of establishing a mutual beneficial relationship. I still didn't get a clear reason for him suddenly wanting to recruit me, as I didn't grow significantly since our initial meeting or anything like that. During this call, I asked about how he was going to financially sustain his ideas, what his long-term goals for Luminara were, and how the talents would benefit. I don't think I got any clear answers, as others have already said they had initial investors, but that was about as far as concrete financial plans were laid in my opinion. I don't even think he fully explained to me what he wanted Luminara to be. My memory of details beyond this are fuzzy. It was a year ago, but I ended up declining his offer. To the affected talents, I'm so sorry this happened. Please don't feel defeated and keep pushing on. I'm not sure what's going to happen going forward, but I wish the best for you. When we first met during our audition phase, I remember you saying it didn't work out and me replying you didn't need them because you're such a cool and fun person to be around who doesn't need a corpo. I still think that way. I'm so fucking upset by all the lies, but even more upset that my friends got hurt. I'm so sorry, August. I'm sorry you too, Ricky. I was truly hoping that things would work out for you, despite my doubts on their end. I don't think you need them either. Oh, Alien Mixture isn't there. I'm sorry that happened to you. You're an amazing creator, August. You have done so much and deserve to shine. Thanks, Sally. I think we covered a few of August's thing. The name is very familiar. To my knowledge, Luminara was made after the success of the first Vtuber Marvel Rivals tourney. I was part of Team Solaris, a team created and managed by Solaris. Kamana and Solaris wanted to work together to create a Vtuber-focused company, but due to disagreement, Kamana decided to make his own company. Real Kamana reached out to me to be one of the first VTubers of Luminara, but I declined. The reason I declined was because he kept flexing his connection, saying, I know this person and this person is going to join, and proudly flexing his connection with Entreya. What really concerned me was how he thought he was better than other talent agencies because he said he had more money than them, and flexing his money constantly to me and comparing other companies to Luminara, saying his company was better because he had more money than so-and-so. These were all red flags to me. Some companies have like millions of dollars. I thought Luminara had that. Nowhere near that. One day he reached out to me on Discord and called me to talk about, but the embed unfortunately stops here. And oh my fucking god, why is there so much more shit in the dump? Very often you don't know who someone online is in comparison to who they are in person. The person that they are offline could be the antithesis to everything you stand for and are. And you often won't know unless you have connections or the desire and knowledge to dig. You don't have the time to dig. You may take it at face value, rely on the statements of those around them who say they know them to soothe your doubts, the dozens of people defending them daily who have met them and perhaps even you may trust them. Staff, talent organizer, artists and volunteers of all types, talents of partners, so patient and honest with me, filled the holes and doubts that I had. But nothing can change what you see with your own eyes. And once you can say what you have seen, people will begin to question and maybe be able to save themselves too. Ooh, this is very, I can't find the word for this right now that I'm looking for in my head. It's very dark. I had a conversation with Kamana, the anime Milwaukee industry mixer, but I remember very little from the convo. Damn it. Chat, want to join my agency? I know Rima Evenstar. And once you can say what you have seen, people will begin to... Okay, we spread that. If anyone who created art on my behalf was withheld payment, please request a message and I'll send compensation. That's very cool of her to do that. Ricky officially departed from Luminara as well, releasing a statement. I regret to inform you all that I will be officially stepping away from Luminara effective today after taking time to reflect on recent developments and my own personal values. I've decided that moving forward, separately from the agency altogether, is the healthiest decision for me at this time. You don't say. As Luminara's first talent, I will always be grateful for the team behind it and for those who have been nothing but supportive, kind, and a joy to work with. From the staff to the editors, artists, and my fellow talents, my time there was truly meaningful. Reimagine Agency, nice name. Mind-blowing how many people were affected. I know, Lydia. Also, hi, Lydia. Like, it just, that's what I said. I'm like, how can so many people be affected when he wasn't even taking cut from the talents, but he was literally stealing from everybody else? He somehow managed to do as much damage as was physically possible in such a short amount of time. It's fucking insane. Okay, we read that. Ava Lam VTuber. I feel like so many people have been impacted by what Kamina has done behind the scenes. I applied an interview for the first wave of Luminara talents. I was told that I was in the top 10, though who knows how true that was. During the interview, there was a lot of red flags, which made me concerned. When I tried to get more information about how it was funded and structured, he was very vague and sort of dodged my questions. He also tried to get step-by-step instructions on how I hosted large events, especially concerts. Nah, dude, he was gonna rip her off. He kept pushing for more information about how I did them and my contacts. I later learned that during these interviews, he got information on how to run a variety of events from VTubers he was interviewing. In some cases, he ripped off their ideas for his own events, which made me glad I was vague in my own answers. So when we read that Elara tweet about him saying that he was like, oh, the con is mad because Luminara stole their idea from Minecraft SMP, he was probably saying the truth. After the first talents were selected, I reached out back out, and he said that the investors had picked up the top 3 talents, but he was interested in working with me and had me shortlisted. He also was interested in meeting me at Hofguy. Also, this is interesting because whenever somebody says that I'm not the one making the decisions here, I have to check with my team or, you know, my investors or my board of directors. That is usually bullshit because they don't want to say that they're the main decision maker in the company. At Offguy, he made it sound like we would get to talk privately, but instead it was this weird sort of circle of people around him, and I couldn't really get much of a word to actually talk to him. During this, he was going on about how many different companies were desperate to work with him. One of the companies he mentioned multiple times was SVA. He stated that Flork was practically begging to work with him because he has so many connections and knew how to properly run a company. This man was living in his fantasy. Like, you know how all of us have like these daydreams about ourselves where we view ourselves as like better than it is? Like, you know, I daydream about myself like living in a castle, being surrounded by beautiful paintings and white horses and, you know, butlers and stuff and twinks, anime twinks. But very seldom it is that we go around voicing those daydream fantasies like in a serious manner. I could run a VTuber agency, yeah, and I know Yago personally. And if you guys join my VTuber agencies, I'll get you guys connections with Hololive. I'll even get like Hosho Marine to, you know, act as your pet dog. Yeah, it is very important not to believe that the Lulus. Yeah, bro took a fake it till you make it way too far. Yeah, I can hook you up with anybody at Hololive, just ask. Oh man, where can I sign up for that? Rima is the CEO of Cover. Yeah, I am the secret CEO of Cover. They, I've asked them not to be listed on the official. I just don't want the attention, you know? I wanted to lay low. During my call and at Offguy, he also kept talking about how he was a manager for Zentrea and had built up her YouTube channel and that it was only successful because of him. He also mentioned the possibility of being able to do collabs with Zentrea because of his connection. I wanted to talk with him for half an hour, but never got the chance because I had to leave for the hair's mixer. I excused myself to do that, and then he was finally interested in talking with me. He wanted me to take him. Oh, bro, why is he so obsessed with this fucking mixer? I tried to explain that I didn't control the guest list and my invite didn't come with a +1. He then ranted about how awful Airs was and that they were blackballing him by purposely not inviting him. Overall, my interactions with him were not positive. After Offguy, I distanced myself from him as much as possible. My only interactions with him were because of friends invited me to do things put on by Luminara. I cared more about my friends than I disliked him. Please be safe out there. If someone sounds too good to be true, it usually is. It can be hard when you're smaller and have what you think is this amazing opportunity dangled in front of you. I hope the best for all the talents of Luminara who have been lied to and had their dreams damaged because of Kamina. Don't let him or anyone else keep you down. Like, this dude, he said he has this dream of changing the VTuber industry, but he so did not. It wasn't even because he had good intentions. Now that we have a broader picture of what kind of person he is, it was just because he was this narcissistic, egotistical guy. That's literally all there is to it. It was pissing you be treated that way and that he thought it was acceptable and professional. Oh god. VSMP community. We are not associated with Luminara in any way. Previously, after interviewing our founder about our Rust servers, Cam accepted to recreate what we do at VSMP. He admitted that he took the idea during a meeting, which was recorded with consent. After realizing he could not provide the experience or safely promise to the talents, we reached out for the sake of the talents involved. In exchange for doing all the back-end work, we were promised that we would be fully credited and allowed to bring some of our talents into the server. We were not credited correctly, and the event is currently still on the website without us being mentioned. We ended up running backend, creating and running all of the events, etc. Luminara staff created the graphics and then never helped again, leaving us to do everything. I have a feeling that his company relied less on sponsors and investors and more on him getting free labor. Luminara staff created we read that, leaving us to do everything. We had to create completely custom-coded plugins and drop everything to create this in less than a week to fulfill the promises he made. The talent spots we were promised was only partially filled. He also refused almost all talents we brought in because they weren't a big enough name for him. I would DM our players and ask them to play the game worse or stop playing altogether so other bigger name players would look good. What? Dude is a psycho! A staff member made a racist comment in the game chat while players were streaming, and after reporting it to them, they did nothing, and that's only a couple of examples. And then went on to slander us in his Discord with staff members saying horrible things. He had also offered to do similar events to others since, claiming that they created it all. VSMP has and always will be about bringing people together to create amazing large server experience in a safe environment despite their name or size. That guy sucks. It was clear he wanted to steal ideas and become the top of the top. All he cared about was being famous. He didn't care who he hurt at the time. Bro, this reminds me of Cometa. Remember that Cometa video I made? Pia also tweeted. Fun fact, Luminara pretended I was assigned talent to get money from investors. I feel bad for anyone who got fleeced. After I found out, I warned others and tried to get legal help, but between this scam and Vishojo's implosion, it was a very intense summer 2025. I know I'm not the only one, but I'm sure more will come forward at some point. Not Pia, not you too. I am the queen of being scammed. This is fucking crazy. I wish I was joking. Bro, she had to go through the scam boss gauntlet. True. Okay, Victoria also made a statement. Oh god, is there so much? Oh, there's so much more. Harry, my Vtuber, I'm very interested in boarding your agency as a backseater. That's basically what this guy did, though. Hey y'all. Neither Zolan or I were ever friends, partners, business partners, or otherwise with Kamana or Luminara. As he told you otherwise, he was lying. We were never associated with Luminara at any point. Zolan has been getting DMs about Kamana using my name to influence people and add credibility to Luminara himself by stating we were friends, business partners, or resources. We had one meeting back when Luminara was just starting, as outlined by Zolan's post. I told Kamana no to his face after being pressed about joining Luminara, which seemed to surprise him, and I do not think he was prepared for our business questions. After that meeting, we never spoke again. I'm so genuinely sorry to the people who this affects. I'm sorry he used our names to manipulate others and try to increase his credibility to unsuspected creators and artists. I hope everyone that was affected by this can move on to greater things. Pardon you too? I think he banked on people not talking to one another. VTuber suffers from isolation and people not wanting to talk business with each other because they could be seen as one way or another. It's like asking someone how much money they make. No one wants to ask that and no one wants to tell. Oh, I always ask people how much their house costs. I am the kind of person that would like to ask how much somebody made. I am that rude girl. Wait, Smith and Seraph is mentioned? Can we see his access? True! Wait, it's Sarah! It's Sarah! Yeah, Smith and Seraph right there. It's right in front of my eyes. You're everywhere. How are you everywhere? You're in everybody's reply and you're in my chat. What a ride, huh? We out here, Flork. We ride on glasses. This industry is a trip. As somebody else commented on one of my live streams, I think the other day, they said, Rima, you will never run out of content in this community. And they were right. You know that when I first started, like, my YouTube channel, there was a time where I actually thought that I had to branch out because I was like, well, at one point, I'm just gonna, you know, once I'm done covering all the drama, there won't be any more. Like, I'm almost done. You know, there's only so many VTubers. I generally thought I would run out of content. I generally thought that at one point, but now I know that's never gonna happen. Hi, Sarah. My mods yelled at me to see this. Been waiting to yell about this for some time. Oh my god, Sarah. Yeah, we read most of your tweets. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Like, what a fucking ride. And there is always something happening. So, what are your plans moving forward? You're just gonna be indie? Ari, the Luminara Kamina stuff. I got to do an IRL meet and greet at Momo with Luminara over this weekend. When asked, I was also invited to a karaoke dinner event by Kamina personally that really icked me out. I later found out that the reason the Luminara booth looked so desolate was... Oh god, it does look desolate. Kamana, and by extension Luminara, were banned from Momo 2 days prior to the con. We were unsure we were even still going to have a booth, but that's what Ilara tweeted about. We ended up still having one, but we were shoved in a corner in the back and nothing prepared. It was probably like an illegal booth. He wasn't even allowed to be there. He just set up an illegal booth. He could have done this in the parking lot at this point. It looks like it. I was invited, but turned it down, actually. I had worked with him through 2 previous agencies groups, and he said, hell nah, this has bad vibes. Here to add to the convoy and support. Oh my god. Oh, so you knew him from before. Yeah, good dodging the bullets. Yeah, Ilara, it just keeps going. It's crazy. Oh, the staff was allowed to do it, but not Kamana. Okay, I see. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. Kamana, and by extension, it would have been funnier if they like smuggled the window. That would have been hilarious. There was a stark comparison to other cons Luminara appeared at, like Awa was not present when Kamana apparently showed up to booth and consequently was escorted out of the con. I just feel terrible for all the people who got fucked by this guy. Oh my god. Azumi also tweeted, it will always baffle me that Kamana briefly was contracted with Hairs as an editor, pushed editing responsibility onto everyone else for months, then got upset when he was addressed about being removed, only to go and start Luminara just a few months later. Why did nobody speak about this? You were just a few boots down from them, no way. Maybe you should start hosting meet and greets. I don't know if people get anything from that though. I know a lot of companies host meet and greets, but I don't understand what the companies get from organizing the meet and greets, because that looks like a lot of work too. But there has to be a reason why they do this. And then there was the amount of trash he talked about Harris, the staff, the talents, the CEO, because he wasn't invited to an RSVP only mixer that he never RSVP'd for in the first place. I feared for a while that he was spreading rumors about Harris, trying to tell people lies to cloud their judgment, into not giving us opportunities, or warning people to stay away from anyone affiliated. After seeing some of the tweets on my timeline putting pieces together, it seems that the suspicion was, in fact, correct. I always had a bad feeling about this, and I'm glad things are finally coming to light. People like this should not continue receiving support or access to the community they have harmed. Oh my god, and there's fucking more breaking news! This is an investor. My involvement in the Vtuber company was solely as an investor. I had no hand in the day-to-day operations, talent management, or creative decisions. I appreciate the support as always. So here he says he's transferring ownership. But this apparently is the person he was trying to do that with and use as basically a fall guy. Well, 6:45. I guess it's not completely new. But I mean, it's from 40 minutes ago. Okay, so this part, Rintio says, I worked the tech for the meet and greet booth for Luminara at Anime Milwaukee and MomoCon 2026. In the grand scheme, I'm nobody. I didn't sign a contract or NDA yet, was given full admin privilege to the main Luminara server. Regardless of it, I knew the talent. Regardless of if I knew the talent or not, I've tried to be as lighthearted and professional as I could be during each event, bringing the equipment used for my own home to facilitate for each and every one of you. When I met Kamana, it was through a familiar friend who I'd known for about a year, so I thought to be trustworthy. Little did I know, I didn't ask for payment up front, but exchange of services, mostly in the form of editing, scripting, teaching, of which was not met. I had to reach out to people inside the server directly, mostly why people didn't know I existed in the first place. Starting with Anime Milwaukee, I had driven my personal vehicle to Wisconsin, and Kamana's flight stopped 2 hours north due to dense fog. Without haste, I drove 2 hours north to Green Bay, Wisconsin airport. Throughout the entire drive back to the convention, he was calling women and flirting with them, asking me side questions like, how big did you think I was when you met me? Brother, ew! 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 This is not... Ew! What is wrong with him? Seriously, what is wrong with him? Or if I would go for him, I denied if he was I denied as he was a hollow mess of a man that I felt pity for, not as a partner. After the trip, all I had been given was radio silence until he questioned my statuses when a friend of mine passed. Throughout the trip, I noted that he was dealing with issues from a prior relationship and having been through difficult situations myself. I gave genuine advice throughout the trip, while he was having me essentially be his chauffeur during the trip. I had paid for everything, fixed my own vehicle, saving money for Anime Milwaukee, and almost faced eviction after. I genuinely believed in people and meet a lot of people I care for now through that event. Momocon gave me a taste in my mouth full of conflict. We had been emailed beforehand that we were not allowed to come and that Luminara would come, but the CEO was banned. I was asked at 7:30 p.m. the day before I left if I could be the one in charge at the booth. I was alone, so I had to ask the staff if it was fine, if my friends who went with me could help set up because no other staff was there. I could feel how bad they felt about me in this situation. Following morning, Kamina had me meet him at a Target near the convention to grab the remaining equipment I couldn't bring from home. While waiting for an employee, he stated I needed to take the television, so one of my friends would need to walk to the convention, promptly throwing all care to the wind for anyone else but his own needs. Proceeding forward, I was given poor information on how to set up, so I did the best I could, especially given that I wasn't giving all of the merch to put up and some was missing. Throughout the event, I could feel, even though the way he DM'd me, that something was wrong, that he was angry specifically at me, avoiding eye contact during conversation. I ran the convention fine, with most people wanting to just explore. I was able to run the booth by myself to an extent. When he trespassed the second time, he was micromanaging what was to be done with attendees until he was removed. Things were fine until the end of the con, with Kamina banned off property. Lacio had me help get the stuff out of the convention hall and brought it out a block away just past the Starbucks. I loaded the TV back in Kamina's vehicle and he said, "I want to talk to you." I declined with "good luck on your endeavors," turning my back towards him to leave and defuse. My friend noticed him approaching me and promptly shouted to back up. I stayed silent and kept walking. Kamina threatened, "If you don't stop, I'm going to pursue legal action." I grabbed my friend by the shoulder and walked away. Ever since I got back to the Airbnb, I felt cold, trembling, and full of anxiety to where I've been shutting down and vomiting. The fact that I trusted this man disgusts me to where I haven't been able to eat. Little did I know, this was a setup for me to be the fall guy. In my time with Luminara, I've been told nothing but good things by the people I actually work with based on my passion and work ethic. For Kamina, I was a number, a zero in fact, a nobody who's so expendable that it wouldn't matter. I've given plasma and worked tirelessly rebuilding a crashed vehicle to make money on the side of my intensive main job to even pay for these events, supporting people I cared about. But it was for nothing, it seems. I've been broken down before, but honestly, I've been homeless before, and I didn't even feel this shit during it. I know most people were hoping for more from me, but I can barely bring myself to this. I've been working under that company for 7 months. Every minute that I wasn't at my job, I was trying to learn new things to help others inside the company. Having learned editing and Photoshop, yet for everything I did was discarded. I was never enough. Sorry for being nobody and having a long read. Take care of the others that have been hurt by him, emotionally, mentally, all broken. I was taking of anything I had left, told I needed to be more, and manipulated. Yo, what the fuck? I don't understand, like, the fall guy thing, though. Was he trying to transfer the company to him? Make him, like, the responsible person after it imploded, or what? Rintio seemed like such a cool guy. It's so unfair. Kamina wanted someone to blame. Yeah, for his miserable fuck-up. Oh, Rintio's in chat! Thank you for covering my story. I'm hurt. I'm recovering, but please help as many others. You did absolutely nothing wrong. I'm so glad that you and your friend just walked away from, like, in this moment. Reading this, I was like, thank God. Thank God they just didn't. I'm sorry that all of this happened, that you got taken advantage of. Like, I mean, the fact, like, that line really hurts, that I've been broken down before, I've been homeless before, and I didn't even feel this shit. That's crazy. Hey, Alara. Okay, that's basically what it was. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sending me this. Hi, Tia. Or Tia's explained for the meet and greets. A little late on the subject. Meet and greets bring more people to the booth and the booth owner's side of things. For a non-VTuber convention, it's also super helpful to have VTubers there all the time instead of having to explain what one is. Also fun to spread the love if we have TV there anyway. To those who don't have the connection to attend virtually otherwise. Oh, that's cool. Hey, Tia. Awesome. I want to do more meet and greets. Oh, he tried to make the Momocon issue Rintio's fault. I remember Kamana VCing me immediately after this happened. What? Jesus Christ, this guy has no shame. He has no shame at all. My god. I mean, also, okay, if you're the CEO of a new company, I don't know why these guys think that they can just like have other people do shit for them and that it's gonna work out. If you are the CEO of a new company, you better be there. You better be working harder than everybody else. You should be putting like, you should have your hand in every single task. You should know how every single task works. You should oversee everything. But it's not like, okay, you guys have it figured out. I'm going home or I'm taking a break. You're trying to put your company on its feet. You don't get to play like king of the luxury. It doesn't work like that. It's never gonna be profitable if you do that. It's like people that are like, I'm gonna buy a house and I'm gonna flip it and renovate it and sell it to a profit. Well, it's like, well, do you have any renovation experience? Like, can you do things yourself? Because if you can't do things yourself, you're not gonna make much profit. Like, forget it. I'm sorry, I tried my best. Don't be sorry, Rintio. It's not your fault. This guy lied to everybody. We can see the extent of how much he lied. Hi, Kick Chatters. Okay, let's see this. A tweet by Froggy. Oh, we were speaking about this. Any other creator had management of Luminara shit talking them? I know I'm not the only one. Hey, Kamana, I just want to ask that you keep management of Luminara in check, as I've been hearing claims of them having dirt on me and calls with other creators. This is making me highly uncomfortable as they're bringing outside issues into Luminara and creators connected to it. This could definitely lead to further issues in the future, and I would like for this to be addressed. What the fuck? Let's maybe not pretend you had no idea of your company is doing when you were managing said company. Girl, can you ever catch a break? Yeah, wasn't Froggy entangled in the cha-cha thing? Chachilla stuff? My god. A Brielle cookie. Fun fact, Luminara did the same to me. Oh, then he used her name too? Brie? Then he apologized while name-dropping Pia! And others also affiliated in that conversation of him apologizing for name-dropping people. And also blamed the person who told me about him name-dropping too for asking about it because it was a friend going. Since when are you in a corpo, he said. They shouldn't have mentioned the things I said about you privately to you, which was hilarious to me. If I had a nickel for every time a company signed me to their company and publicly announced I was with them without me knowing about it because I expressed the genuine barest minimum amount of interest, and this all coincidentally happened during Off-Guy, I would have 2 nickels. What? Brie, what is this stuff keeps happening to her? Yeah, dude acts like he has a full Pokédex of VTubers. And Sarah's there again. Isn't all the replies? Oh my god, and there's some dockies coming out. How far are we till the end? Oh my god! Oh god! Oh god! Why is there so much? Jesus. I'm not gonna have a voice by the end of this stream. My experience with real come on. Okay, how long is it before I start reading it? Okay, this is short. This is short. This is doable. In the end, it didn't even matter. Kamina has been a very busy con man. I knew Cam for a long time. In my eyes, he was like a mentor and a good friend. Someone who helped me learn to edit and grow as a person, but maybe I didn't fully see everything I went through during that time. Cam told me he was going to build this huge company for VTubers and bring me in to work with him, but none of that ever came true. I worked for him for free since he framed it as training and an opportunity to work alongside someone bigger than me. Bro, I should do that with my editors. Frame it as training and work for free. Though, through him, I got to edit and speak with Lezu Chen. I didn't mind doing it for free because I was learning and I was just happy to feel like I was part of something bigger than myself. While I worked for Cam, he told us editors that he would bring us into whatever he did next, but I was never brought along. Maybe he didn't think I was good enough. But I heard, I felt lied to, like I had been left without explanation. I wasn't even invited to the Luminara server. For a lot of the events I helped host, I wasn't even allowed to talk in the general chat. What the fuck? He kept him on a leash. He actively kept me at a distance because I talked too much. which meant I couldn't get close to anyone or make real friendships there. Oh, that's sad. That's literally just sad. I was told my mom and brother how happy I had told my mom and brother how happy I was to be working with him and all the VTubers I got to be around. I edited a lot of free content when I first started, all kinds of short form and long form videos. How did he get all these wonderful people to join in on his project? Which was stressful, but I took it as part of learning while building connections and growing my skills. In my eyes, we were good friends. I would check up on him regularly, and I even traveled to Texas just to see him for his birthday because I genuinely thought we were that close. But apparently not close enough to be invited to his new company or to even just game or chat anymore. After he made Luminara, he stopped using his Sukira server, so I also lost touch with a lot of the people I had grown close to over time. That was really depressing, feeling like I wasn't good enough to keep walking alongside him. At the end of the day, you never truly know how much you mean to someone until it's already too late. I'm not mad that I wasn't invited, just disappointed because I genuinely believed he was going to bring me with him. I even stood by his side the first time he got cancelled because I truly believe he was a good person. He went to court to fight back against everything being said about him and told me he was happy that people believed in him. He said he was glad to have me by his side and he cried on the call. I truly believe I meant something to him. I didn't know all that he did, and my heart goes out to everyone affected. Because you guys made me turn up the gamma and the brightness on my monitor for that one like horror game we played, I am getting actually blinded by the Google Doc. Like I have spots in my eyes now. Yeah, dude must have been a snake oil seller in a former life. My interaction with Kana was due to his interest in my reoccurring VTuber concert due to his interest in 3D production. In the interaction, he was strangely casual in choice of words and offered the staff of Luminara for free labor without consulting them. Jesus, he then ghosted me. I can't believe he offered his staff for free labor. Oh yeah, but my mods will work for you guys for free, as they do for me. It's free property. I wish he didn't delete his other Discord server. After Alec and Zen came out, there was a few Zen mentions in there, including him trying to elude the issues were with something else. Seriously? Like his other Discord server that were tied to Luminara or that were tied to his previous agencies. It was tied to him? Interesting. Thank you for letting us know. That's crazy. Called Make Me Famous? There was 214 of us in there? No shot. Surely someone took a screenshot at one point. The #1 and secure server still exist? Oh Lord God. I have a screenshot of the server image and name. I wish I took more. Well, sorry, you didn't know it would happen, TBA. But if you guys have anything to offer, make sure to join my Discord. Discord.gg/Rima if you want to be part of the conversation. Let's look at more stuff coming out on Luminara. So Grey Corpse here says, I wasn't personally in or around Luminara, but I've had conversation with Kamana before. They came to me in DMs asking if I wanted to work with him and his team on the events they held. I remember it being a Fortnite event and he gave me perms to a server because I wasn't sure about anything yet and this was my testing ground to see if I wanted to do it. We had no conversations about payment, really, except for you can do this for free and maybe you'll get paid. And later we can talk about letting you go to cons to plug in monitors, etc. for the VTubers to use for the con. Kitsune! Thank you for the Twitch sub. Thank you, thank you. If you have some free Prime Twitch subs laying around, make sure to use them on the Rima Evenstar channel you're on right now, Twitch chat. So Grey Corpse continues to say he wanted me to sort out names and basically contact people to schedule their times and the groups and people that will possibly be joining the events, etc, etc. I later on said no because it did in fact bother me that I'm being scouted in the sense to do a job pretty serious one of planning and scheduling with big VTubers with no payment talked about. That was pretty much my experience with Kamina in total. Never spoke to him again after that. We still had conversation, but unfortunately it was lost when my Discord got hacked. We read. Oh god, V-Stellar production. Our experience with Luminara. Rose Winter! Thank you for the prime! Thank you! I'm gonna realize how do people like Kamina make these connections to screw over everyone over and over again? Well, the answer is simple. Okay, while I've been struggling for 3 years just to find an intern opportunity, I'm gonna take the time to answer that because I feel like there's a lot of like up and coming VTubers or people that would like to become VTubers that often comments things like that on my videos. And they're like, man, I'm here with my good intentions. I'm trying to make friends and connections. And these guys are all out there and they're moving so fast and they screw everybody over. The reason why it's working for them is because they're not even playing on the same even playing field you are. They are cheating. When somebody lies to you, when somebody lies, the ceiling for what they can do just becomes like astronomical. Like if I start inventing things about myself, I can just say anything. I can say I have connections at Nintendo. I know Yago personally. I invited him to my house the other day. And then of course everybody would like freak out. But if you gotta like genuinely and organically build connections and network, it takes time. If you gotta genuinely build credibility, it takes time. Our experience with Luminara and Kamana has come out recently. Many people, including ourselves here at Vstella, have been affected and used by the company Luminara and their Kamana. We hope that we would never have to involve ourselves, but as the situation has been growing, we want to make sure the names affected are informed. Some of you may know, back in August 2025, we announced our partnership with the company. Then later in Jan 2026, officially parted ways publicly. We officially wanted to make a statement as to why we left and the treatment we endured to spread awareness to his actions, as well as any warning to any people that he used our names to get to us, as well as he used our name to you. Kamana's partnership with Vstella started off as more of a mentor-mentee relationship. At the time, he promised loads of help, including bringing big names to the music company, including but not limiting to Cover Corp, Nichi Salji Ian, Isa Korva, and Obi Catty Cat. There's no way. I was memeing about pretending he knew Yago, but he actually name dropped Cover and Nichi. Many of these songs were never started or completed due to the lack of communication from Luminara. While in meetings and calls, Kamana would scream at these Stella staff that they were not doing enough. Imagine screaming at a staff that they're not doing enough when they're working for free! That we as a team needed to do more for everyone as we were embarrassing him and his company by being partnered with him. We decided after he tried putting Vstella's name under his LLC, it was time to depart as a company and make our own path in this space. If Kamana or Luminara have all tried to use Vstella's name to convince you to do something for him, or promise you a project that was never delivered, please feel free to reach out to our team. Yo, dude, I'm glad. Good thing that Ilara made this post, because it kind of triggered an avalanche effect where everybody just used that as a springboard. Okay, I read those. Red. Yeah, I'm the guy. No, I'm not a twink. Aw, disappointing. My experience with Kamana Jovi, whatever name he will come back as. To see what I'm talking about, go look up Killed by Jovi on Twitter or any Brawlhalla Reddit. Oh god. You mean a chain reaction? Oh, is that the idiom? I met Cam and his team back in early 2025 for Vtuber Rivals, the original one. And at the time, I was fresh on the scene with content creation. I didn't have much to my name, but I had knowledge about the platform that dwarfed others. After a bit of talking with him, he wanted to cast the event and be one of the casters, so I did it. I thought it was a good opportunity, but even then he was a sex pest to two of my friends. I won't say names. While we would play games, he would say overly sexual things. Mind you, he had a girlfriend. During the day of the event, my childhood dog of 15 years passed away and it destroyed me. Inside, Cam's response was to suck it up and that he didn't care I was gonna get paid and I can cry later. Did he get paid though? After the event, I was ghosted and not paid. Bro, I could have seen it coming! A month later, a friend of mine who worked for him during his suck writing, wanted to bring me on under her management. Cam's response was, Red will never make it, nor will he ever be anybody. By the way, I'm going to Summer Games Fest on behalf of TikTok. At that point, I knew Cam didn't like me, so I just left it. I never heard from him until the second VTuber Rivals came around and I redonned my title as a caster with promises of pay. That didn't happen. That when he told me about Luminara, so as a joke, I auditioned. He pulled me aside and said he couldn't market me, nor does he think I'm a good fit as a talent. I'm not billboard material, nor do I have views to be billboard material. Did I mention Summer Game Fest TikTok? Anyways, I joined as manager and content analyst, and the talents were my pride and joy. I loved them all to pieces, and I wanted to see them all succeed in their goals. Mr. Jovi didn't like this and started telling staff I'm getting too close to the talents, and that I'm either trying to get with them or use them for clout. Bro, this entire description is just like Kamana projecting on him the entire time, by the way. Eventually, I was ostracized in a way he never told me plans or what the talents were gonna do when it came to content, even tried to keep me away from their analytics. I saw so many signs that Cam was trying to get me to get with some talents, and I tried to tell people, but it fell on deaf ears because of the manipulation he already put under my name. Soon, Trey brings me on to working for Mythos, but not for too long, because Cam had me fired simply because he didn't wanted me there, and told me that Trey was the one who fired me, trying to make him the fall guy. Jesus. After him isolating me a bit more, I finally just left quietly and went down to do my own thing while keeping an eye for my talent from afar to make sure they were okay, whether it was word of mouth or at a convention. I try my best to keep them out of this weird, twisted game. Cam is a sick, disgusting, vile human, and anyone who was manipulated by him, please do not feel bad, as he was just playing a twisted game and saw us all as pawns. That has been my experience with the disgusting sewer slug known as Kamana, Jovi, Giovanni, whatever you call yourself. Stay gone and don't come back. Don't come for my talents or their names. Pastel Low here says, I'm so sorry. The energy and fun you brought when I got to work with you as little as volunteer for the second tourney still leaves a positive impression on me. The fact that you came back for the second tourney after how you were treated the first time. You are fun, you are memorable, you are valuable. Fuck that guy. I was wondering where you went. I remember seeing you in act. Aw, they seem to all think he's a great guy too. Dude, this dude was surrounding himself by the best people ever, but he was such a shithead. A bunch of us started to believe him till Charlotte came out. When she came out recently? Because of the comments on Ilaria's post, he was trying to damage control in the Discord, saying the stuff coming out about him was solved in court, with the court siding on his side and linked to Google Doc. So he was trying to say everything coming out was people believing the lies. Oh, and then Charlotte came out and the Discord went silent. Then Zen and Ella came out and Smith and Seraph, and he deleted this Make Me Famous server so quick. Wow. Kawa CEO here. I don't think this is entirely required, but I'm thankful that Kawa was in no talks with Luminara, as we hosted several meet and greets last. Okay, Kawa was made aware of the Luminara website reflecting pictures of talents that had not signed with Luminara and had no plans to, so we ignored the cold call emails we received to invite us to quote-unquote sponsors events. My heart goes out to the talent staff and more that we lied to. Also, Kawa is a non-exclusive merch company, not a management company. We cannot sign our clients up for anything, but we do try to get invited to cons and the likes, so we can make opportunities happen for our hardworking Vtubers. We only sponsor concerts if we're making merch for them. Anyone implying otherwise is incorrect. In regards to Luminara, I wanted to say my offer still extends to every previous talent, and if there's anything I can do to help, please feel free to reach out. There were several pieces of art I did and still plan to do that I was not expecting compensation for, just for my work to be shared. All I ever wanted to do was help, but in the end, I feel like I ended up just as an emotional outlet. For some reason, I know extremely private details that should have never been brought up to me as a third party. I've never been in contact. Did he trauma dump to you? I've never been in contact with Luminara, let alone hired as a staff member or artist, just sort of existed. I did feel like the opportunity was dangled in front of my face a little. I expressed some troubles I've been facing with my own VTubing debut, and I was offered help by Kamana, especially with the connections he had. I was convinced he just had a group of people who had it out for him, and in hindsight, I was very naive to believe that what he had to say, especially about his relationships to others in the space. All I ever wanted to do was help people, maybe get a small chance to be a part of something bigger than myself, and I'm sorry for the things I've said. Even if they were in private, I should have gotten the fuller picture. Saying anything for the time being, I think I'll just be keeping it to myself. I just wanted to make some friends, but in the end, I feel like I might have unwillingly hurt others more than anything. And these are super cute. Oh, they're adorable. Is that Minto? That's so cute. Is that Barry? AM Candledy. I was a sponsor for the Luminara chess tournament last year. Originally, I was asked to provide financial sponsorship, but being unable to do that as a small business, we agreed upon a gift bundle to the winner. I was never told who the winner was and never given their info. If you were a winner of the chess tournament and can provide me proof, please send me a private message here. It's been almost a year and I want to still get your pricing to you somehow. He probably like blamed it on them. Oh, he would flex the private info he knew about people behind the scenes to me. That is fucked up. Got all three Densetsu girls in there? Wait, in where? In here? Koryoju. Oh, this is hairs. My experience with Luminara. I was the first on to leave Luminara. I'm glad I can finally say publicly that Luminara was the core reason I wanted to graduate and go on hiatus back in October 2025. I was villainized, I was isolated, the work I put in New Cloud was taken credit for by Kana. I could go on and on about my experience with Luminara, but I want to make one thing clear. I'm not blaming the staff or the talents that were victims too. My issue is with the CEO. When I heard Cam and some people in Luminara wanted to attend Anime New York, but I couldn't afford badges, I wanted to be a good fellow, professional in the space. I had 2 extra exhibitor badges because I had a booth, so I offered them for free. Cam then started passing around the exhibitor badge I gave him to people without my permission, including people I didn't know. Cam and his squad would come to my booth and act like they owned the space. He even took business meeting there. This dude is just like a con man. What the fuck is it? This is something you see in movies. Like, pretending this is your office. Interfering with the interaction I was trying to have at the booth I paid for. You can see in the Anime New York stream VODs how uncomfortable I was with them talking over and abusing that space. He also kept asking my rep how much the booth costs and how to get one, digging for information while disrespecting the space I paid for and abusing the badges I had generously offered. Then there was New Cloud. Luminara wanted me to essentially organize a large-scale IRL event within 3 months, which is already extremely difficult. They claimed they would help, but in reality they did not. To be clear, there were a few honest staff members who assisted, and I appreciated them, but instead of Cam taking the lead, I had to direct people every step of the way. Anytime I was not involved in the convo, things would fall apart and nothing would get done. And let it be known, I paid for the venue out of my own pocket. Oh my god. Luminara did not contribute financially to the event. While I was organizing the New Cloud concert, rumors were being spread internally about me and other staff. Jesus Christ, I was being villainized with claims like Corey thinks this is her show and doesn't want to give anyone else credit. This was simply not true. Cam was the main person responsible for posting on the Luminara account, and I even reminding him to credit everyone who worked on the concert, no matter how big or small their contribution was. The trash talking continued, and eventually I started to feel like I was the problem. I tried really hard to word things in a way that won't hurt people because I never had any evil intent, but everything I heard made it clear that people were being encouraged to view me like a villain. I couldn't take it anymore, so I announced a hiatus, and honestly it kind of was my show. This is not an exaggeration. I was doing about 95% of the work, while Luminara had event production agency in their bio. Dude, this is fucked up. Like, he literally made them do all of the work, and he put his name on it so like future clients thinks they're the one that organized it. This is what a production agency does, by the way. They put the team together, they organize everything, they pay everybody. Like, this is what a production agency is supposed to do. You do everything from A to Z, including like transportation, taking care of food for the employees, for the talents, everything. Only one person from Luminara attended the New Cloud concerts in person, and I did not receive any real life help from Luminara. The staff at New Cloud were volunteers thanks to the USS Hornet, and I trained and onboarded them myself. Some of the talents also seemed to dislike me because Cam was spreading rumors and lies about me. I went out of my way to include some of the talents in the New Cloud concert. I even had artwork done for them, and some still refused to post the postcards I made or even repost the concert. After New Cloud, I was cast out. They supported other talents but would not even repost my important projects. I had organized an entire concert on their behalf, released original music, and then Luminara did their first cover song without even asking if I'd be interested in joining. I was used, isolated, and discarded once they got what they needed from me. I'm glad Luminara is no longer creating false promises. This is why I left. This is why I continued pursuing independent concert hosting. I wanted to prove that it was possible to create opportunities for yourself without relying on a self-proclaimed production agency. I'm heartbroken for the talents who were led on with false promises, but I'm genuinely happy that they now get to continue their journeys without being tied to false hopes. I'm glad they cut ties. I feel like I got off a little lucky because I'm socially inept. He kept calling me cute or saying I deserve princess treatment and wanted me to come to MomoCon too. Oh, he wanted to get into your pants. Rise. My personal stuff with Kamina is very up there. He took something from me that I can never get back. I'll just keep it at that and end it there. Staying strong as always, and I'm here for anyone, to all ex-talents and staff too. Yo, what the fuck? He took something from me I can never take back? Okay. Alright, my experience with Luminara /Cam. Since I first learned about Luminara back in May of last year and joining in October, I joined in hopes of assistant in content, events, and merch, looking forward to the opportunities it could bring and the assistance they might provide. I tried to shrug off the red flags, but eventually departed with them after the promised support was never given. Before I joined, I learned about Luminara in May and was in communication with Kamana about potentially joining in the future. Met him in person during Offguy of 2025, and while I had good expectations considering the people he said he had connections to and the funding he would have access to, I would be lying if I didn't have some reservations for my interactions with him. During our meetings, he was very touchy with me, grabbing my leg and rubbing it. Ew! What? Don't fucking touch my leg, I'd kick you. Which I found uncomfortable, but brushed it off at the time as being overly friendly considering his girlfriend was present. Perhaps it was how comfortable he felt around his girlfriend. But did he try the low XP line? That is a very good question. After Offguy, when he started looking for talents and made a list of potential people to recruit, he would talk about a number of them in a mocking manner, especially those who did any not safe for work content. I would try and say it's okay if they did that because a lot of my friends do that. It should be something no one should be ashamed of doing. He would also direct me to pick out who I liked on said list, which I found weird for him to ask regarding a list of people being considered to be recruited to Luminara. Such a creep, man. This guy stinks. Horse kick. Yeah, it would be a horse kick too. In regards to Kamina acting as CEO, there were numerous occasions where he, instead of talking about business, which was the purpose of our meeting, he would instead ask to play Fortnite or redirect the convo to a completely irrelevant convo instead of business. He would make uncomfortable jokes, especially jokes about his D during conversations. God, he does tick all the boxes. For the support I asked for when joining, I liked the proper assistance he said they would try to get me. Instead, I was having to go and reach out repeatedly just to get meetings with someone. They eventually got me a manager. But this manager was a person who applied to be an editor, and when asked what their role was, they were only told that they were my point of contact with Luminara. This is so unserious. When it came to merch and art with Luminara, they made a stand-D and art of me, which then they sold. However, to this day, I've yet to receive any cut from the merch. Even after my departure, they continued sales of said art, for which I still haven't received any cut of. I, on multiple occasions, wanted to leave, but delayed it in hopes it would improve, only to see it never change. Sorry for those who didn't know till now what some of us went through, but understand that I could not see the whole picture. I wish those who were talents of Luminara and those who departed it good luck on their future endeavors. I put money into bidding on the cutouts with the knowledge that the talents would get a cut. While I don't regret buying them, I'm saddened that none of you guys got anything for it. Damn. I've kept quiet because I believe in resolving things respectfully and professionally where I can, but given recent revelations about Carmina and Luminara, it's time to speak up about VForge and more specifically its CEO, Sunny. When VForge was first getting off the ground, I made contact with Sunny and then CEO Firefox about working together. As VForge and VTC grew, we finally did arrange some work together where I would help with finances and partnerships and Sunny would help VTC with editing. We did one ADHOC consultation meeting where we did some good work reviewing contract language that I felt went very well. After we started negotiating a contract to formalize our agreement and terms, which Firefox and I polished to state we were both happy with, unbeknownst to us, Sunny had decided to go scorched earth on the team, suddenly cutting ties with me and removing his COO Firefox and at least one other person in breach of their contract and without proper compensation for their work. At the same time, I independently tried to reach out to Kamana as a contact for VTC to work with Luminara. Sunny was seemingly under the impression that I needed his blessing to talk with him. At the time, I generally thought he was joking and went about my day. Wayne, you should have let me know that you're interested in reaching out to Cam. I could have helped you out. You set that up. You can't just friend request him out of the blue. He just DM'd me about it. It makes me look bad. Huh? I hope that's sarcasm. What sarcasm? Hey Wayne, I don't think this partnership is going to work out. Thank you for your time. So Sunny is the CEO of VForge. VForge looking kind of shady here, according to this guy. All of this to say, Sunny not only did wrong by his staff and by me by breaking contract and refusing to fairly negotiate compensation, but he was also seemingly very deeply involved with Kamana and shared his manipulative tendencies. I have no doubt in my mind that Sunny was aware of the issues with Kamina, and VForge is only distancing now because it's the correct PR move when an abuser gets caught. I advise caution to anyone working or under VForge, at least while Sunny is in charge. And the plot thickens. We read that. We read that. Stop adding stuff! Oh god. This is one of the talents too. Liz says, Kamana actively talk shit about you to me? What? During an audition phase when I was being brought on, but he framed it in a way that made it seem like he was the victim. So I just awkwardly laughed it off. If you just meet somebody, chat, and they start talking shit about other people, that means they will talk shit about you as soon as you have your back turned, by the way. He painted you as the selfish villain who wanted to rip Luminara off. I'm so fucking sorry. Just one of the many things that looking back seems so obvious now and it didn't feel obvious in the moment. He was a huge piece of shit. I am Snooty also says, I am so sorry to the people that have been hurt. I hope people know I did not know at all. I wanted to believe in a dream and believe in hope. The lies sold, stories told, and personas fabricated. This is one of the talents of Luminara, by the way. Can make it so hard to see through. I know a lot of people are saying they saw red flags. I'm sorry that I chose to go with the dream and was part of something that hurt so many. The moment I found out, I immediately left. Please know that my heart really goes out to those who were hurt or affected in any way. I'm heartbroken, upset with myself, but I'm one of the least affected and will be okay. If there's ever anything I can do to those involved, please feel free to reach out. Completely batshit insane situation. How can you cause so much damage to so many people in such little time? I want to say there needs to be like accountability for this person, even legal repercussions, penalties. But unfortunately, I'd be lying if I said it would happen. I feel like this guy's just gonna run away scot-free and rebrand in another community and start all over again with this kind of scam. Same pattern. What a weirdo. What a weird person. Hey, you! Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button. And I'll see you in the next video.